3, 2, 1.
0.
Hello, everyone. This is Dead.
Just to be clear, we're not talking about Hitler this time.
That's it.
Is that right?
Start again. Always starting again, like everything in my life. Hello, everyone. This is Deadhead. We're here with Anwi and Nugsy and No Charbel. Oh wait, is he here? Hello. And cousin. Well, we just started as a call. We are in the bread podcast, and we are doing it live and live.
Doing it in the bread
with the bread. Life of action of life. How is everyone doing tonight?
Not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. Bit tired, you know.
Yeah.
How are you, mate?
Good.
How are you doing?
Didn't know if tonight was going to happen. Leber, you had a dinner tonight. What was that all about?
No, that was a misunderstanding. It's all good. And I'm glad.
Misunderstanding. So you're inviting some people over. They said yes, but they thought that it was a joke.
You know what that's like, don't you, buddy?
I do. What was the misunderstanding?
No, it's fine. It's irrelevant. Carry on.
No, it's not irrelevant. I'm asking you a question.
No, I'm telling you it's fun!
You got rejected, didn't you? I'm sorry, man. That's okay. Keep asking.
It happens to the best of us, mate.
It does. You'll find someone. So,
Yeah.
It's been a very interesting week. It's been a horror week, actually. What's happened in the US? My God.
What's happened in the US, Ed?
In Las Vegas, some psychopathic maniac opened fire at a country concert, if I'm correct, and killed like 59 people and injured over 100.
Why did he do that, Ed?
Police don't know. In all the news reports I've read, no one can find a motive as to why this person did such a terrible, terrible thing towards so many people.
But how could someone do something like that?
I don't think anyone could figure that out. I don't even think the people who do it know why. I think it's just hate and anger brewing inside them because they are just so afraid as people. So afraid. That's the only thing I can think of.
All I'm thankful for is that we have guns to protect ourselves.
This is, I mean, that was the major thing under the article I read was like, is this going to spur the new gun control in the States?
It's not.
It never will.
No.
Because they're like,
as I was saying before, I mean that's primary school. They got shot up a couple of years ago. I mean, nothing changed then. Why would it change now?
It never will. It changed. It was the gun culture in Australia was never strong when John Howard came in and said we're taking your guns away, and so because America is so yeehaw,
so ingrained.
We have weapons, we've got a strong military, we're so kind of in force with our constitution. We demand weapons of all sorts. It's never going to be a case of gun control, serious gun control. Even if they just said, look, no more fully automatic weapons. Semi-automatic rifles, shotguns, yes, you can have those, but no semi or full automatics. Well, actually, no. I mean, semi-automatics are very devastating weapons still, but if they said no fully automatic weapons, they'd still be like, but that's taking away our right to have guns.
Yeah.
I think the only person recently who could have potentially would have been Obama, because there's no way it's going to happen under Trump.
Well, that was the main thing.
It definitely wasn't going to happen under Bush.
That was the main concern about voting Obama in, because they're like, oh, he's going to take away our guns, and never happened.
Take away our gerbs.
I don't know what America has to do to change the constitution.
But the conversation was there. He was willing to have the conversation. Most people would sit there and go, no, I'm not going to touch that with a 50-foot pole.
Yeah, of course not. It's about people pleasing, and every American wants the right.
Exactly.
No one's going to amend the Constitution, and it's never going to happen. But I mean, I was looking in maybe a year ago. I was looking at purchasing a firearm and what one would have to do in order to buy a gun, and the amount of money, time, and effort you have to put into it. A lot of people can't either afford it, put the time in, or can be bothered to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do it for to do target practice to shoot clay pigeons, but it can't be done. Those damn clay pigeons Too much of them breeding
The
around.
clay pigeons.
The clay.
You've moved beyond the clay ones already. You're on the clay
Those
ones.
original glaze mates.
Yeah.
There's a video on the internet of this pigeon that's... Wait, I'll see if I can find it. Of a pigeon that just... It doesn't even fly. It's like sitting on the edge of a building, and it doesn't fly off. It just drops off, like it's just killing itself. And it looks so sad, but it's so funny at the same time.
Oh, kitty, no.
It's,
Did you see the gif of the owl I linked last night?
Beg your pardon?
There was a link I posted yesterday, and it looks like there's this Sheila at a zoo or like a bird enclosure, and she turns her back to the enclosure, and the owl just like nose dives into the glass.
Oh, I didn't see that, no. I didn't see the owl that's attempting to nosedive into the glass.
And the bounce is just so satisfying.
I'll keep that in mind. Wait, I'm going to link it. There it is. That poor pigeon.
Oh, kitty, no.
It's not a kitty, it's a pigeon.
Kitty, no.
Oh, kitty.
Oh, well, it's a shame. But, yeah, it's not... I wouldn't want to shoot a real pigeon. Right, oh, here we go. That's
Went out!
So way I can mute this. Hi, I'm a lady. At the thing. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, just plow straight in.
And the lady who's filming it is almost like, this is planned. She just looks so... Oh, that's great. I'm glad that's...
Nonchalant.
There we go. I must admit, the suicidal pigeon's very sad, but...
Oh, they had to add the music to it, didn't they?
Yeah. It's not obviously... Why would it... No. It's obviously just base jumping or something. It's not really killing it.
It doesn't even bother. It's like, whatever. I could fly, but I refuse.
I cannot. Oh, jeez. So,
Yeah.
let me have a look at the Google Docs.
Speaking of which, Tom Petty also passed away today.
Tom Petty, singer of the Ramones and stage actor for. He was the stand-in actor for Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory after Gene Wilde.
Starring Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser, yeah, buddy.
Amazing singer. It's a shame that he had to pass on, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Who is he?
He is the lead singer of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and he's also in the star lineup of the Traveling Wilburys. Those are the only two things I know of him from.
Wow. It's actually that is.
He's well known. He had his little corner of I don't know. I suppose it would be rock. He's been around.
I can't say that I've listened to any of his stuff, but when it's always a shock when an icon dies. I mean, it's like when Michael Jackson died. I thought I never listened to any of his stuff, but I thought he's not going to die before me. He's got too much money.
Yeah.
That
was probably his downfall.
We just buy.
Some may say.
Just harvest organs from children in China and rebuild a new body for this guy. I mean, the celebrities don't die. But...
Go the Christopher Reeves.
No, he would never do that to the children.
No, he just screws them instead.
Ed,
it's true.
you love them.
Yeah, too much.
No, I never believed that for a second.
They found. There was a whole thing after he died.
They found nothing.
They found
nothing.
They found heaps of things.
This is Conspiracy Corner with Ed.
They found heaps of stuff. Hang on. Okay, wait. It wasn't.
Oh, heaps of stuff.
Heaps of stuff.
Fucking, I was so worried. I couldn't understand.
Michael Jackson.
So
what did they? Oh. What's the feckin' word? It's not. Just because you look up to a friggin' sex offender doesn't mean we all have to, mate.
Yes, you do.
What, Hitler?
I don't think anyone will look up to Hitler. All these nasty people in history.
We mentioned his name.
Time to restart the
podcast.
No, Eddie Hitler. Oh yes, he was. Yeah. He was actually a very funny character, a very beloved character from British television.
I don't know how.
How do you do a search for this? Michael Jackson. I was going to type in Michael Jackson. What found after death?
He was found.
News surfaced. Police reports detail Michael Jackson's disturbing pornography collection. Images were depicting children faces on adult bodies. There we go. And
was it just his face as a child on adult bodies?
no, it says children. But then again,
He was a child once.
this is Vanity Fair. Well, was he ever? Because apparently that was his thing. He never had a childhood.
Thanks, Ed.
What?
Well done, mate.
Yeah, I mean that's the same
welcome,
thing they
mate.
said for Miley Cyrus.
I
They
think-
grew up too quickly when they were young and didn't have a
Doesn't
to experience being a child.
Let them live a little.
doesn't every kid grow up at the same speed? Like time doesn't vary between people.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like they were shot into like stardom. I don't
Let
know.
them live a little.
Like,
If
did
they
you
want to
ever-
have the drugs and rock and rolls, and let them be.
I'm so sorry they got millions of dollars and adoring fans. Oh, that must be so bad for them.
You probably would suck, actually.
Yeah, that would warp
yeah,
the mind.
because there's no privacy.
It's pronounced privacy.
Well, look at Facebook,
Yeah,
Twitter,
privacy.
Instagram, Snapchat. There's no privacy anymore. Anyway, no one's got privacy.
Yeah, but you can
There's
moderate
privacy
that
settings. You can put that to
Yeah.
low
Yeah, but
or high.
people still put
or
everything.
not have it at all.
Broke up with
Or not
Jacob
have it at
today.
all.
I sucked off Jacob today. Oh, Jacob and I are back together. Oh, he hit me in the face again. Oh,
Well, whose fault is that? That person is typing it out for the world to see.
Yeah,
It's literally,
that's right.
if you don't want that to, if you don't want people to say that, you don't type it. It is that simple.
Yeah.
it's true. But then could you
You're
say
acknowledging
a celebrity doesn't have to become a celebrity? They could just live a quiet life.
I mean, some do, but as a child, you probably wouldn't know any better. You would kind of embrace it because it's an
forced
unknown.
upon. Yeah,
And there's plenty of actors who just do their own shit and don't get attention for it.
Yeah.
Like, they could just go under the radar if they really don't want to be in the limelight.
yeah. Actually, that's true.
I guarantee
It's
there's
as
a
simple as that.
lot.
If Miley
to it.
Cyrus didn't want money and fame, then she would not be famous and she would not have money. She would be living on her own in some country bumpkin town by herself. Maybe she'll get every now and again some dickhead reporter, but other than that, that's it. You have
Actually-
a choice, and people choose against
Yeah.
what they want.
I'm pretty sure Bill Murray pretty much like lives that way. He just keeps to himself. I'm pretty sure he has a 1-300 type number that people call for interviews, and he decides which, like, if he wants to do them or not.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
rocking, baby.
I mean, some actors. I mean, look at John C. Riley from I guess
Everything.
From anal beads.
Well, his biggest, I guess, acclaim to fame, as I know, was Step Brothers with Will
Tenacious
Ferrell.
D. Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm thinking of the other guy. Yeah, Step
Oh, the
Brothers.
other guy. Yeah, and he was a very small, like, nobody knew actor back in the day, and then this was his
Yeah.
big... And, like, at his age, no one really wants to know his private life, so should it be a case, because he's so old, should it be a case of people shouldn't be allowed to be famous until they've reached the age of, say, 40, because they're ugly, they're, losing their minds at that point? Should that be a thing that should be...
Or, if you don't want to know about their life, you don't look it up.
Oh.
You're
Okay.
allowed to not care about what Miley Cyrus or Katy Perry does next.
I don't know who these
Yeah,
people are.
they-
I mean, have I met them? Do they care about me? If they don't know my name, I don't want to know theirs. Perfectly simple.
But I feel like that's more the media at fault than people. Because I
Yeah,
can
but-
sit here and choose to ignore Miley Cyrus, but I could be at work and the radio's on because they play bloody Kiss FM during the day, and they'll be talking about Miley Cyrus. I can't escape that.
No, you
that's the-
can't. Of course you can't, but it doesn't
So
mean
it's
you
kind
have
of
to
thrust
care
upon
about
you
what
regardless. Oh no, of
Yeah.
course.
Well, just turn off the radio
Just
then.
ignore that shit. Like pretty much. Like I pretty
Hmm.
much whenever they talk
just
about shit like
tune
that,
in.
I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. I don't care about
Yeah.
this stuff.
Because I know my news app, you can choose what news you want, and as soon as it comes to anything to celebrities, it's like, no, unsubscribe, delete it, get rid of it. I don't care at all about these people. And I don't think anyone really should. So
Pretty much.
it's one of those
This is
things.
the life we live. We need to know what Kim Kardashian is wearing tonight, so that I can
Oh,
do
really?
the same.
I
For some
didn't-
fucking reason.
Nothing.
What is she wearing tonight? Kim Kardashian.
She's wearing nothing.
Nothing.
Today. Oh, that's what I'll be wearing today, love.
What's she wearing?
Bitch, I don't want to
STIs.
see that 500-pound fucking waist. Oh, put
chest.
some clothes on. But Kim Kardashian's not wearing anything today. I don't care, woman. Isn't that right?
Is she a woman? Oh, yeah, she is. I thought she was a tranny. That's nice. I was supporting her more when she was a
that
tranny.
unattractive, mate. She's not that unattractive.
No, it's just that, and she's with some dude. That must be her husband. Oh, yeah, the gay guy. I'm glad that he came out and said that he was gay. That's really good.
Why? Do you want to suck his balls or something?
I don't give a flying fuck. Oh, if he asked me to, maybe, but I don't think I could handle them.
Why?
Because I've never handled...
It's too big.
Besides my own, I've never handled anyone else. I wouldn't know what to do in that situation. I mean, do you pull them? Do you pull one? Do you try and milk it like a cow? I mean, there's so many things you just got to be careful with.
These are the tough questions.
If you want to milk the cow, you got to work the shafts, mate.
It's only the most important topics in this podcast, no doubt.
No doubt.
Talking about milking the cow, we are going to be on to milking the Murray River in Melbourne. Have you guys heard about this? This is an issue that we've had in Melbourne. I don't think it's really hit Sydney yet, but I did see one in Sydney tonight on my outings. The oBikes, which have come out in Melbourne not a long time ago, a couple of months ago, which was brought out by a Singapore company, which was like a bike share operation, which allowed people to use bikes anywhere, and you could drop them off anywhere. That was the whole gimmick. And these like yellow, I don't know if they're indestructible, but these yellow bikes that you pay a subscription and you can use. I don't know how it works, but people had been literally leaving them everywhere. And when they say everywhere, like, it's come to the point where people and the council and everyone are complaining, saying it's just this trash all over the city. And they pulled out of the Murray River, which runs through Melbourne, something like 40 bikes that have been thrown into the river. And
why?
Because you can leave them anywhere. So why not just leave them in the river? I think it's a good testament to some people just enjoy messing with stuff.
But if you could leave them anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
why a river? If it doesn't matter, why not leave it in a fucking shopping trolley or fucking someone's backyard?
Because we can't have nice things. That's the issue.
Just throw it up someone's tree and watch him come out in the morning and go, why the fuck is there a bike in my tree? Be original, people!
People have done that on top of porta potties, on top of portable toilets, on top of trees, everywhere.
Good, but why a river?
Not my tree.
But people, I don't know, people just thought, let's throw it in a river and see what happens. I think it's a good testament as to the human race just loves to mess stuff up, and because it's fun.
Fucking kidding.
Yeah, and people have been Instagramming it. If you Instagram Melbourne oBikes, hashtag it, or whatever, you will see just bikes that have been left in the most craziest of crazy places. And
is this a way for Melbourne to become more like Amsterdam or something, and like more eco-friendly? You kind of ride everywhere on a bike, definitely driving. Well,
Melbourne does have that feel about it, that kind of new age, new world, individual world.
Wannabe.
Yeah, everyone's a hipster. Everyone's smoking their own pubic hairs. Whoa, we're so flash.
Ooh, pineapple flavor today.
Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna make my yes. And it's gonna be rude. And so it's this thing now that the council's like, look, we've got to deal with this.
Dad.
And what?
God forbid.
God forbid.
It's not like we're in the bread or anything.
No. Well,
continue.
Okay. We are in the bread. And so anyway, they say, quote unquote, they've been fishing for these bloody oBikes and they've turned up everywhere. And I think it's just one of these things that the human race is like, could you imagine? It's like, it's one of those things where you could say to a city, here is a statue of something very, very nice. It's very, very fragile. No one touch it. Within the first 5 minutes, some dickhead is going to go up and touch it and destroy it. Because the human race is like that. We can't stop us. When we see something and we know we can't do it, it's like, oh, how, when can we do it? This is why we can't have nice things.
Looking
true.
at how to use these oBikes, apparently, you have to download the oBike app, register and pay a deposit. Mm-hmm. The app is used to rent and return the bicycles, and users are charged by 15 or 30 minutes, with payments charged to the credit card or debit card.
Right, okay.
To ride the bikes, users must have an internet connection and Bluetooth enabled on their mobile device to enable unlocking of their desired oBike, which is done by scanning the QR code or entering the corresponding bicycle number. Once users finish the ride, they need to manually lock and leave the bike in any legal parking spot to be ready for the next user.
But it can be anywhere as long as it's legal. Footpaths, anywhere, right? There's no designated spot per se. Like with other share bikes, you'd have to drop it off at a clamping area which would secure the bike. These, it's not the case. That's the big thing about these bikes, the oBikes. It was leave it wherever you want, as long as it's not obstructing traffic or not near a fire exit or anything like that. So people would then lock it, and then because they're all over the place, it doesn't necessarily have to mean the rider threw it in the river or put it in a shopping trolley, but someone else did.
But if assuming you locked it properly, unless someone came along and broke the
They'll just pick it up. No,
it's a lot of fucking effort, though.
Just carry a bike. I mean, I've carried a bike. I've done that before. I don't know whose bike it was.
Yeah, but they have to lock it before they leave it. They're meant to lock and leave the bike in a legal parking spot. It means someone's come along and broken the bike free. To then dump it in the river. Unless the person who hired it dumped it in the river.
I assumed that locking it means locking the back wheel and the bike chain, not actually locking it with a chain around a thing. Or maybe it does, and they've locked it... Because I've heard of stories of other people locking their oBikes to other oBikes, so you've got these massive chains of oBikes locked to each other. That's another thing that they had an issue with, so I don't know. I mean, who rides bikes? What a gay thing to do.
Yeah.
Dreadful. Getting exercise and fresh air, not contributing to pollution. Lever, have you written a bike?
Written.
Yeah.
Written? Have you written to a bike a love letter?
Yeah, and I never got a response.
Okay, and you've ridden...
Bastards!
Have you ridden a bike?
Yeah, bro, of course.
When? In the city? Like on the road? Or just as a kid?
As a kid.
But you never actually, as an adult, would you ride to work?
That would be a long fucking ride.
No.
It's not a fucking rhetorical question.
No.
No, you wouldn't.
No.
You have to wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. You hate exercise, don't you?
Yeah.
Could just imagine.
How many hikes have you been on, Liver?
Why the fuck would I ride a bike to fucking work? Why? What's the purpose?
Do you have to pay
I know what to do. I'll ride my bike to one station away, and I'll catch the fucking train with my bike and take up all the space like everyone else does.
And you have to pay for the ticket for the bike. But
Yeah.
yes, but
I hate it when people bring their bikes on the train. Like, why?
But
just ride the stupid bike.
I assume, okay, if you rode a bike, purely just a bike and no public transport, you would be cutting down, A, you'd be getting exercise, B, fresh air, C, you'd be cutting down on petrol costs, you'd be cutting down on insurance, you'd be cutting down on fuel costs, I already said petrol, pollution. There's a lot of benefits to riding a bike. But if you're doing it in an urban environment, it's really just either a death wish or you're insane. But to be honest,
No!
I just want to see you in some bike shorts, Liver. Pounding that ass really hard.
What the fuck's wrong with you? Look,
What?
you don't need me watch me on a bike, mate. I don't know why you need a bike for this.
Sorry.
Just wear the spandex shorts anyway.
Yeah, you can actually.
Oh, but it's the pounding he wants, Lever.
But
The pounding
He
he
wants
wants
to see
the
you hot
pounding
and
he
sweaty
gets.
afterwards.
that's just not comfortable.
Who are we pounding?
Oh, jeez, I have no idea. But speaking of pounding, or what leads to pounding, children, or in that case, getting pregnant, delivering a baby in public is the link that you've put here, Nugsy IFC.
Yes.
Holy cow! I didn't believe it until I saw the pictures.
Yeah. A lady, heavily pregnant lady in China, squatted down in the street and gave birth. On the street.
Is so fucking
chucked it away afterwards, I guess.
that's horror porn. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez,
That's fantastic.
seeing the videos. Oh, that is fucking disgusting. You can see it.
Even she looks grossed out. She's like, "Ugh, what's that?"
That's come out of me. She doesn't. How?
It can't be that bad, can it?
How? Okay,
It's
so
pretty brutal.
if TV and movies and everything else has proven to me one thing, it's that when a woman is pregnant, she is in hours of labor pains and suffering and has rushed to hospital and is like, oh my gosh, I'm in the most excruciating pain. This looks like it's just like, I've taken a shit. Here I am.
Yeah, she just I don't even know what that process was. The picture well, the fucking gifs, which is even worse.
Do you reckon it's real?
Like she just squats down and it falls out.
Do you reckon she's just... I know, it's one thing as a kid. I always thought, how does a mother know she's giving birth and not just taking a shit?
I don't know.
These are the questions we need to ask ourselves, I think.
And the baby just hits the ground like a sack of potatoes.
The more disturbing thing is how long it's just laying on the ground before like anybody tries to do anything.
If I witnessed that, I can assure you, I would probably be in shock. I would continue eating my sundae, but I would still be in so much shock. I wouldn't know what to do.
I'm sure that woman's in shock.
No,
she just like looks at the baby. She doesn't even do anything.
But how did she not know she was pregnant?
Why did she even take a fucking shit anyway? What the fuck?
And, like the umbilical cord's just like it's still attached and everything. It's just hanging there.
Wow. Oh my gosh. How?
She's so brave. I'm so proud of her.
It's basically
for doing that out in public.
It's Chinese Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, when can we send her flowers?
Jeez. I'm so thankful to experience that delightful. Oh my gosh, that is the most disturbing thing I've ever seen in my life.
I think I found it on Reddit a week ago, and I saw it, and I was like, yeah, that's podcast material right there.
That is shocking and disturbing, and kind of makes me hungry. I mean, okay, actually, this is talking about childbirth. I remember someone reading a quote from a woman, dealing with the whole kind of, you know how women say men don't understand a thing because they never experienced childbirth and the pain of childbirth and what it's like to carry a baby. There was a case of a woman who passed a kidney stone, and she said between giving birth to a child and having to piss out a kidney stone, she will take childbirth any day over a kidney stone pissing.
Well, because with childbirth, it has to come out. A kidney stone, it can get lodged and stuck in the what's it called?
The outie
like
pipe.
the tube going from your kidney to your bladder, and I think it can get stuck trying to pass it from your like the urethra or something.
Urethra.
Yeah.
Like,
and there's two ways to get it taken out, I believe. They can fish it out with a net in the bladder, or they use a laser, and I think they put a stint in or something from the kidney to the bladder or something like that.
I heard something about
using... that means you have to go back in, I think, and they remove the stint and stuff like that.
I heard a case of using sonic waves to shatter it while it's still inside you, so it's a lot easier to pass.
That might be the laser, I'm not sure.
Either way, it sounds absolutely fantastic. Delicious.
Yeah.
But that woman in China, she must have had about 10 kids at that point, because the baby literally just was like, splat, here I am. Her vagina must be so...
Pops out.
It
Either
does.
that, or she just loves... No way. Anyway.
Fuck. Yeah. Jeez. Okay.
Far out, mate.
Oh,
That's
well.
messed up.
I think childbirth is probably
is.
the safest reason why we should have sex robots. And speaking of sex robots, because they can't get pregnant, a sex robot was sent for repairs after being molested at a tech fair. Please explain. Nugsy, another great nugget.
Apparently, it was heavily soiled.
Oh.
It was. I believe it was being exhibitioned at a festival in Austria. I assume it had to do with sex dolls and stuff of the like.
What's the Australian sex fair? SexCon or something? We have a sex toy convention of some sort, so I don't know. I mean, I only go there every second year, so I don't know it too well.
I know there's a sex convention, but I can't remember what it's called.
Sexpo.
I knew someone... Yes, that's the one. I knew someone who went there once or twice.
So I'm guessing a sex spa of sorts.
I guess so. I think it's just to showcase the latest technology in that field.
And this poor toy was.
She was apparently left in a filthy state by a barrage of male attention, and she suffered 2 broken fingers.
Aww.
Yeah.
It's getting to a whole point where it's like, should we give machines rights like humans? It's like that whole argument of when we have artificial intelligence, will these machines... I think, actually, Blade Runner, talking about it last podcast, it's that whole debate of when machines become so realistic, when do we start giving them rights? And I think this is a case where people, given the option to be dicks towards something like the oBikes, they will be, which is a terrible, terrible shame.
See, but if it was... Because there's 2 types of AI, right? You have the type of sentient AI, which is the one that would be on our level of consciousness, and that would be the one that you would have to give rights to. But if we're talking about the AI that doesn't know, that has it functions like a toaster, then it's irrelevant. But then the other problem is that you're offering a platform for people to kind of do that kind of stuff because there's no consequences.
Oh, there was that artist, I forget her name, where she was the artwork and should stand in a room and people could do anything they wanted to her. I forgot. Oh, damn, I really wish I remembered her name.
They could do anything they wanted to? What do you mean by that?
She stood in a room and people could go up to her, they could paint on her, they could do absolutely anything they want. And people did. They took off her clothes.
What do you mean anything they want?
That was the artwork. That was the artwork. Where
Okay, so like not rape her or anything.
It almost got that bad. People were undressing her and she stood still. She did not react at any point until the session had ended. And people were doing all types of mean things to her. And as soon as it ended, and she could start moving again, she was like, okay, back in the room. And people fled because they were like, oh shit, she's responding now. And people, because they knew they could get away with it, they did. So she had clothes ripped off. She had I think I remember seeing a rose being stuffed down her bra. It was like just terrible things that people were doing because they think they could get away with it. It's like this whole thing of being anonymous on the internet because people think they can get away with it as shits and they think they control people. But that's a whole new discussion. But it's the same thing with this poor robot that was, just absolutely devastated.
That's
just
messed up, man.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can find this artist. Anyway, but I remember there was this whole argument about these sex bots, these sex robots being nothing more than objectifying women. And
well, I mean, they're robots.
They're robots, not women, but because they
they're meant to look like women. They're presented as women.
Thus, it's objectifying them, and the thing is, I actually sent there was a Twitter group that I was just trying to find then that was kind of like really fighting against it, and I sent them a Twitter saying, well, isn't a dildo or a vibrator nothing more than objectifying a man's private parts?
Yes.
Did they?
No, you can't say that shit.
Did they respond? They didn't even acknowledge.
They probably deleted your post.
My post, and it's one of those things again where
double standards.
It's
double fucking shit standards. Correct.
And my argument is, if I had a robot sex toy that was getting to the point where it's like iRobot, but a female iRobot, I would want it to be not just a sex toy, I'd want it to be a lover, someone I could communicate with, someone that I could be with. I wouldn't want it just for sex.
Yeah, so you're talking about like advanced consciousness at that point.
Indeed.
Yeah. I mean, which at that point it would be an individual.
It would be artificial
because the moment
intelligence,
it can experience and have thoughts of its own, it's its own thing.
Indeed.
So you would have to at that point you would have to have the same laws that apply to human beings would have to apply to an AI. Yes, indubitably.
That's
look, until robots actually learn how to talk and fuck. No one cares, right?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter, but it's more the negative impact of that. Like what it's kind of because it's just a machine. It doesn't matter. It's replaceable. You do what you want. You throw it out. Especially in today's society, throwaway society.
I mean, I throw it out.
Your washing machine breaks down, you just throw it out and buy a new one because it's cheaper to do.
Or it's obsolete. I've got an MP3 player. It only holds 2 gigs. Oh, it's obsolete now. I can get one with 12 gigs.
3 gigs.
I can get a woman. I can get a sex bot. I can get one with 6 breasts now. Okay, get rid of that one. But I think if
needs more breast.
But what happens when they actually start to act? When AI begins to demand equality, what then? Robots
turn them off, the fucking idiots.
Well, that's what happened with Facebook. With they brought out Facebook produced AI, and they had 2 separate AI machines. I'm trying to find it actually. Again, another article that I want to write about and I can't. And they had two bits of software talking to each other that after a number of hours began to produce its own language, and Facebook had to shut off because it was getting out of control.
I think I remember hearing about that.
Its own language. That's some scary shit.
That's friggin' Cybernet, man. That's Cybernet.
Yep.
I know that Microsoft created an AI chatbot that they released on Twitter, and I believe it had something to do with analyzing tweets of other people, and then it would take that and it would make up its own tweets. And it got to a point where it just became a racist and a misogynist and
I'm sure everything from all the examples.
Yeah, and like
racist
bot, and like fucking.
I love that.
Anti-Semite, and it started tweeting all this negative stuff on there.
Invite him to the cousins, mate. I think he's got the right ideas.
So basically, he learned from, again, this has all to do with the anonymous presence that people have on the internet. They think they can get away with everything, so it learned from that. And became
spoiled mentality.
Became the fucking cancer of the internet, which
oh, absolutely, it did.
It's funny and sad at the same time.
It is. It's the epitome of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's who we are, apparently.
Not me.
You know what Terminator got wrong? When Arnie destroys the T-1000, he forgot to teabag him. I think that's what happened. That should have happened, I should say.
Yes.
And it's we're moving into that age now, aren't we? Where AI is becoming such a prevalent thing now, and it's a good thing and a terrifying thing at the same time. I'm hoping that it's going to have more sense, and if it enslaves us, let's at least hope that it make it better for us in a sense. At least AI can't be biased. At least AI is not.
Would it not?
Unless it learned
from us. Would they not just end up being the same as us? Because if you think about how an AI's brain works and how our brain works, it's exactly the same, except one's not organic, one's more mechanical.
Not me.
No, that's right, mate. You're not mechanical.
Not me.
Well,
I think it's all that incest. As
Stephen Hawking said, it'll get to the point where technology will be mimicking nature, and you won't be able to tell the difference between the two. It will come to the point where machines will have immune systems like us to rebuild themselves when they're damaged, and have reasoning powers in order to survive. I mean, imagine waking up to your computer and saying, "Hey, can you I want to play games." It's like, no, not today. Fuck off. I'm tired, you wanker. You played games for 5 hours yesterday. I'm exhausted. At
least wash your hands the next time you touch the keyboard. Treat me with some respect.
That's it. And use tissues and clean the keyboard off. It's only going to be
what? I think we would have destroyed the Earth long before the Earth could be like, hey, hang on a second, what's going on here?
Maybe we just don't know. We don't know what the future holds. I don't think we should
Twitter
care.
is the future, and we will die.
No, Instagram's the future. Apparently, that's outranking Twitter now, apparently.
outranking.
What about Snapchat? Is that any good?
No, it's a lot of
Snap-
shit.
Snapchat?
No tits.
Slam
Don't care.
You're following the wrong people.
Oh, sorry. I'm just trying to find...
Following the wrong people. Ooh, hey, there was unrelated to everything, but Nugsy, and I guess anyone else paying attention to this.
No, just me.
There was a bug with Fire Emblem today with the new arena update to change the rotation. Guess what? We're getting free orbs as compensation. Isn't that great?
Oh, you lucky bastard.
Oh, shut up, idiot.
It was too high.
Damn, he went beyond... Oh, here we go. He went beyond parakeet. Well, I didn't know this was a thing.
That's alright, I can just waste all the orbs now.
I just got hit by an art thing. A web page that said, "Ad blocker detected. We're blurring out all the context."
Why? Oh, yeah. Like Forbes and shit do that dumb stuff. But you know what? I said websites like Forbes, close. Fuck you. I don't care about your shit. Jailbait article. Jailbait?
You know what?
Bait article.
What's like that? It's fucking people. Pinterest, I think. To do anything on Pinterest, you have to have an account. It's like I just want to scroll through. Can I just scroll through? No, you have to have an account.
That annoys me so. That makes me want to eat my fucking eyebrows.
Pants.
That too.
Oh my gosh! Imagine if that happened to like Pornhub or something. Sheldon would lose his mind.
It's like half the
What
world.
would he do?
It's like the world just
He
nukes
just
itself.
won another one.
Like, imagine porn actually gets regulated for once, and you actually have to put in, like, just the way China does the CS:GO sort of thing. You have to register your account, your license, all that stuff, and you have to pay a subscription fee. And if you don't, you can't access any pornography on the internet. It's all blocked.
There would just be an underground porn movement.
Chaps will kill himself because he's so... Look, all he has to do is go and get himself a license so he can have identification. Nah, too hard, kill myself. That's my cousin. That's my cousin.
Here we go.
At least he knows his priorities.
I think I found it. I don't think this is the same person though. I thought someone in Sydney did this, but I found the artist. Her name.
You're still looking for the artist?
I was, and I think I believe I found it. Artist I'm terrible with names. Hang on, I'm going to put it in the Discord as soon as I can find the. Marina Abramovic.
Marina Abramovic.
Okay, she stood motionless artist Marina Abramovic conducted a shocking social experiment where she stood still for 6 hours without any motion to see what people would do to her body. She had kept 72 objects on a table, and the viewers had to use them if they decided to make changes to her posture. And after a while, she had stuff poured on her, she was getting stripped naked, and terrible, terrible things done to her.
Well, what the fuck did they expect was going to happen? That people were going to be decent? Like, she's not going to move. We could probably turkey slap the bitch. You know, like, people are fucking fucked in their head. They can't think civilized.
I can't remember what I was reading. It was on Reddit. But I think it was a game show where you got to decide what happened to the people. The audience got to decide what happened to the people. And everybody could be anonymous. Everybody got to wear masks. And they found that because people were anonymous and their decision was anonymous, people would choose a negative outcome for the person participating.
It's kind of funny.
And it got to a point where people kind of became I can't remember some of the outcomes, but where people would become too disgusted in what was happening, they would take the mask off.
Dang.
So they found that they found that like by being anonymous, people were more likely to go for a negative option than a positive one because they couldn't be held accountable, kind of thing.
I believe it. And it just gets to a point. We just don't know where it's too far.
It's not my fault she wanted to be naked for me because
Well, you think, wouldn't it be funny? You know, you got this artist in front of me who won't move. Wouldn't it be funny to stick a rose bush up her ass?
See, this is why we can't have nice things.
I was thinking like putting her finger up her nose, and you went for a rose bush up her ass.
But isn't the whole point? Okay, this is what
And
this
then you can hide there.
this
Cherry bush.
is very. This is the thing, though. Isn't the whole point of her artwork to show that side of the human nature? So not only did and her butt. Okay, but
I mean, it could be many things, right? Because she could go there with one intention and come away with a totally different one.
An artist
because
can't
she
be
could
that
go
naive.
turn up and. But people are naive.
No, she couldn't be. She's an artist. She's not that stupid.
Maybe not her.
He knows everything, okay?
But I'm just saying that because of the way art is, it can be interpreted in multitudes of ways, and none of them are incorrect because that's art. Art is
That's a lovely
subjective.
answer. That's a
It is
lovely
subjective.
answer.
I actually remember asking my art teacher in school, what can be defined as art? Because it's this huge debate that people have been... You can't just take a shit on a canvas and say it's art, but in some communities you can. That is art.
Correct.
It is all subjective. Some people... I mean, if someone said, here's a $10 million Andy Warhol original, I'd say, oh, well, $10? You take $10 for it, mate?
I don't understand
Don't
the
know.
whole Andy Warhol thing.
Well,
What the fuck is...
any
He painted a
artist.
can of soup. Good fucking on him.
I'm just saying, it's all
There's no
subjective.
bread with the can, is there?
Do you guys have a picture of it? I want to take a look. Just make sure it's legit.
Of what?
I
That
threw
can
it
of
out. I'm
soup,
sorry,
bro.
man.
Fuck! How am I supposed to admire
It's
a
out
can
of date,
soup?
Loba. It's been sitting there since the 80s.
Ah, piss!
It's delicious. Actually, no, I've had Campbell's soup. It's nowhere near as good as Heinz. Seriously. It's just... bleh.
Maggi noodles
I don't have-
are the way to go. Sorry.
You mean soup?
So, I mean, that's one thing. If there was a can of Campbell's soup on the table, I'd probably stick it up that artist's butt and watch her poop out soup.
Actually,
That'd be funny.
that being said, you mentioned school. That the one thing I don't understand about art being taught in school is that because I did visual arts in year 11 and 12, there is a criteria you have to meet. How does that work?
Where do you
If
meet
you're
them?
making an artwork, like, because at least our teacher was saying, like, she'd be like, oh no, you should do this, oh no, you should do this, oh no, they should do this, but then she's kind of taking that away from you, because then it's not you expressing yourself through art, it's then you're making an artwork to be judged by people to a criteria.
True. It's not the artist, it's the art itself. It's a tough subject. It is really a tough subject, and there was one artist, I forget, I think it must have been European or something like that, I forget, I'm pretty sure I read it was European, where his artwork was getting a starving dog on the street and sticking the starving dog in the art studio and let the dog keep starving on. And that was art.
That's grotesque.
It is grotesque.
No, get fucked. That's
And
not
it
art.
is, and
Being a piece of shit.
that is, and there's that Mofo guy who does the art expeditions, the art shows, which literally involves cutting up the carcass of a cow, and blood and guts going everywhere with the audience participating. But
How? See, I don't mind as much, depending on how the cow has died. If he's killed a cow for the whole purpose of this art exhibition, then that's moronic. If he found a dead carcass of a cow, that's fair enough. It's almost like a butcher at that point.
the same, I mean, at some points, I don't know how he came across the.
Because then, like, if he's killed a cow for an art exhibition, that's just a waste, right? He's just murdered a cow for no reason.
But isn't the art itself meant to be proving something to man? Isn't it meant to be saying something? It's meant to be creating a message, a platform for people to discuss things? No? I mean, I think that's what art's meant to be. It's meant to be shocking and beautiful and disgusting and prove a point.
Yeah, but there's got to be a limit, right?
Well, what about that other artist? Oh, far out. Bill Henson? No. I forget his name now. He was an Australian
Like, I'm
artist.
sure there are other ways of doing that without letting a dog starve or letting, butchering a cow that you may have murdered for the sole purpose of an exhibition.
Well, quite again, it's all to prove a point.
Because there's an artist that I studied in high school. Don't ask. I might be able to find the name. I don't remember. I just remember that all his artwork was based around the red light district of Amsterdam, and his artwork was it was just it was great. It was done in such a way that it made it look incredibly unappealing because it kind of was meant to reflect the living conditions and the livelihoods of all these people who sell themselves to make a living.
So it was like the grotesque.
Sell their bodies to make a living. So that like he'd have like there'd just be like stuff running and kind of like melting all over the place. It just looked disgusting.
And that is to obviously prove something. It's meant to show something that.
Yeah, but he didn't go out and let a dog starve, or he didn't cut something up. He did it by I'm pretty sure it was found objects.
Well,
that he manipulated in a way to get that message across.
And that's one way of doing it. The problem is art, as I understand it, has no boundaries. It has no limitations. You can't say this is art and this isn't.
So if someone was to go out and murder someone and then cut them up perfectly and like display them, that's okay.
I'm not saying it's okay,
that's
but
art.
people will justify it.
Sounds like a Inside Number 9 episode.
It does actually. That was very similar to an episode. Yeah. Spoilers.
I was thinking of Hannibal, the TV show, because there's a scene. She's my neighbor.
Oh, okay.
Hannibal.
You want to hook up, Liver?
Only if she eats my brain.
Oh mate, she's ready.
What about? Do you guys hear about this this pizzeria in Adelaide hanging a dead cow? It was a taxidermied cow from the roof of their restaurant.
That's kind of cool.
It's disgusting, is what it is.
Yeah, but does it? I mean, it comes back to how the cow died, doesn't it? If they just taxidermied a dead cow, it doesn't matter. I
don't know if it says if it does or if it doesn't in the article, but it was to talk about the whole. I think it was to discuss about the whole dairy industry and how cows are treated.
I mean, it's definitely different, but
shocking, concerning.
I mean, I would just look at it and go, "Why would you?" But I mean,
because people, you can actually, Lever, you'd have something to say about this. You can't shock people the normal way. You can't just say, "Big news! Cows are treated poorly." You've got to show a cow half dead, cut in half, while being attacked by a pedophile.
Yep, on Game of Thrones as well.
On Game of Thrones. Otherwise, people don't they don't care. They honestly don't care.
It's like, shut up! I'm trying to watch the news.
Game of Thrones is on.
I'm watching Netflix. Yeah, whatever.
It's the new Game of Thrones. I think it's come to the point now where, as Kevin Spacey says, you've got to hit people with a sledgehammer in order to get their attention, to get their fully undivided attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's like the easy way, and then there's the there's the deep and meaningful way. Like the easy way is like, for example, today I was at work, and they on the radio they played a live recording, or I mean not a live recording, but a pre-recorded. But it was the audio of the event that took place in Las Vegas.
Oh, really? Oh,
so you could,
yeah.
So you could hear the gunshots, just continuous gunshots, and people screaming and people crying. Jeez. I don't know about anybody else, but I didn't need to listen to that.
No, that's.
I didn't need to sit there and be subjected to this audio recording.
That's horrific.
To understand what happened. It's a shock. It's unnecessary. You don't need to. It's preying on like people's fears and people suffering. Why?
And it's to get, and it's this morbid curiosity that the human race has to. I mean, even the photo gallery in the news that I was watching, CNN article that came up. It said these images are graphic and be prepared to see some shocking things. And scrolling through a news article, it's like, yes, that is a dead body on the grass. I shouldn't be subjected to this. I shouldn't be seeing this. No. But it's just there, and it's come to, like, 10 years ago, that would not have been on. 20 years ago, it would not have been mentioned. Now
they would have like had struggles saying it on TV. Like, it's just graphic. And that's it.
Now we're getting children being born on camera and uploaded to YouTube. We've got Kim Kardashian's. She's probably going to have a cervix.
Cellulite ass, fucking Photoshop all over the place. But she's the standard now. Yeah, you know what's funny about her and her ass is that it's full of cellulite, right? She's got a legitimately fat ass and not the good kind. Yet people that are trying to imitate her actually pull it off better than she can. Isn't that interesting?
What about Nicki?
They're trying to aim for perfection, even though she can't. And she's just getting paid the big bucks. The big fat ass in Photoshop.
I found the artist I was talking about earlier. Edward Kindholz.
Edward's
Kindholz.
Cuntholes.
Yes, he's Kindholz.
Okay. Or Nicki Minaj apparently getting butt implants.
People are just stupid, man. I don't understand.
No. I need to tune out from reality sometimes.
I'm a perfectly normal
and that
human
fucking
being.
audio clip today didn't help. I'll tell you that.
Well, the thing is, I've tuned out from society for
ever.
I don't know, 10 years
Since
now,
you were
right?
born.
I don't know anything about pop culture. I don't know anything about the latest and greatest songs. So now when I try to hear rap music now, it's like, what the fuck is this? What is this? They're not even rapping. They're just talking, and it's worse than it's ever been.
2 + 2 is
Why?
4. Quick math.
Oh my god, that's the problem. That's not even what I'm talking about. But yes, that is
the problem.
How bad it is.
It
It is so sad that we're at this state now. I can't understand it. It just hurts. It hurts.
But don't you think our fathers were saying that?
Yeah,
30
and that's
years
it,
ago?
because we've become now how could they listen?
Don't say that. Don't fucking say that.
But it just shows that you can tell between quality. If I listen to something in the 80s and compare it to something in the 90s or the ooze or whatever,
Granddad.
you can tell the sound is different. The sound is different. The lyrics are different. Certain things are slower or faster. It's a different sound, and people still even the new kids that are raised in this generation, they still listen to the 80s and they enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like Nugsy, I'm sure he appreciates stuff.
Fucking earth. But there's it's not so. See, the thing with me though, I was kind of brought up on that music anyway, because that's stuff my parents listened to. Like my dad used to have us when we were kids dance around the lounge room with playing "When the Levee Breaks" by Led Zeppelin. Like that was my childhood.
Oh, good.
This is outdating me by 20 years, but it's just
it's easy for people to say you're getting older, you don't like the new generation music, and that's the standard shit everyone says, and that's fine because that's probably true. But you can still tell when something's bad and what's not. If you compare,
absolutely.
Example for singing, half of it's not done anymore. You just use auto tune. You're apparently a singer. Done. No effort. Done. You've got rap. No effort. You just talk like an idiot and make a no saying. But then you talk about bitches and asses, and then that's it. And getting turns and drunk and all this other fucking stupid shit. But that's always been around anyway. But however, it's just slower. The beats sound the same. It's just there's no effort anymore. And
I like to think that I can still appreciate a good song nowadays, regardless of my musical taste. There's
shitty catchy songs that even like Katy Perry, I would listen to that Bon Appetit song, right? It's fucking weird, but it's catchy.
What about that?
There's stuff that you've played in your car lab that I've never heard before that I don't mind.
And I never want to hear
it.
Again.
It wouldn't be something I'd listen to, but it's all right.
It's
that's not current music, but still.
If you listen to old 80s and early 90s rap music, you can really hear
the old school vibe.
A certain genuine rawness to it that just comes with so much soul, so much pain, and so much love for the art.
That's right. Back then, it was like all streets, and it was an art. Yeah,
it was ghetto. It was hard work.
It was really, and now they've
every
grabbed that.
Fucker's got
have grabbed
friggin'
and they've
Bands Tube or whatever that thing is on Mac, Bandcamp, Bands whatever it is.
Everyone's a rapper because they've had it tough. They had to go to school and do the HSC. Oh, sorry. Life sucks.
I had to do the HSC. I had a
in
period.
America, the HSC.
I broke my pen during the exam. Oh, what was
I had to ask the teacher for another
living
one.
on the streets now of.
I stole the teacher's pen. Look at me.
I was licking out my girlfriend. She had a period. Fuck me.
And she did.
That's the third girlfriend that had this problem. What the fuck's wrong with me? I'm causing them all to bleed.
All the bleed.
Oh my gosh, now I gotta find another
No,
one. Why is life so
Maybe I
hard?
go too hard.
They're all pregnant now. I got child support, but I killed him.
Hey, that's a Tech 9 song.
I believe it.
You remember Tech 9, yeah?
Yeah, I remember Tech 9.
That's I forget what it's called.
Einstein.
Yes, that guy.
Yeah, I know.
He's got a song called. Actually, I forgot what it's called.
I ate your
He calls
fetus.
himself a murderer because, like, you'd think the song's about him murdering people, but he's murdering children, like, because the unborn children.
Mhm.
Keeps getting their women pregnant, and he's talking about or rapping about killing them off. So now he's a murderer.
So he's talking about the remorse of it, I'm guessing, by calling himself a murderer.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, he doesn't really sound like he's sad about it. He's just saying it.
Well then.
Well, I don't think he could rap crying. I killed my baby. I mean, you could if you
What's
wanted.
the song called?
Murderer.
No,
Fetus, baby.
Killer. That is me. Killer. That is me. Real killer. That is me. That's it.
Real
It's just
killer.
called Killer.
Okay, now you
Real
say it like
killer,
that.
is me.
It almost sounds like he has pride about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because he's legitimately a real killer, not like the people that say, "Oh, shoot 20 people in the streets every day," sort of shit. This guy's actually legitimate. I don't know if this is actually true or not. Obviously, music and stuff, so it could be anything. But
It sounds like he's got a point.
That name looks like Tech Nun to me for some reason.
Does he look like Michael Jackson?
put on your fucking spectacles and read it properly.
No, I know how it's meant to read, but it just looks like Tech Nun.
Does it look like? Does that
Because
look like?
What?
what?
I was saying it looks like Michael Jackson. I mean, just it looks like
I
the
think
Beat
it's-
It.
Yeah.
I remember Michael Jackson having a goatee.
He usually has like a mohawk for his hair anyway.
No, Michael Jackson had long hair. Idiot.
On his chin.
Shit!
Oh, jeez. So it's official. We are now grumpy old men. Don't
You know,
No, not mine.
I was in the car with a mate of mine a couple of weeks back, and we're talking about fucking health insurance, and I sat there and thought, fuck me. This is what my life has come to. We went health insurance. I didn't see him in like a month. We're talking about health insurance.
That's funny because me and Ed are just talking about the same stupid
Sucking.
shit we used to talk to in high school. Nothing's changed there, buddy.
Yeah, high five.
He's married, but even then you can't even tell, mate.
Well, I guess it happens to everybody. Don't worry. Like 20 years time, when reality TV will consist of people getting raped and murdered, and that's the normal
Who
thing,
can survive the longest without screaming or some stupid shit like that?
which will fucking happen at some point. And then people who are like, oh my gosh, I just remember this reading it on the news. Now it's a reality TV program. Oh gosh, we're so old. Happens to everybody. Well, do you reckon it
It's
gets?
alright. Well,
Do you reckon James Cameron will fix it all, like in South Park?
yeah, he'll release Avatar 2, and we'll be saying.
Or will it get to the point where it gets so horrific, then it just kind of like a rubber band snaps, and everything just goes back to like the 1920s, where you can't even see a woman like her ankles without it being like sexual?
Ooh.
I don't mind myself a bit of ankle pain.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna Google it right now. Sexy ankles.
Make it happen.
Ankle.
Sexy ankles.
Oh,
Actually,
one
that's
thing
a-
I'm going to mention, by the way, I probably should mention outside this podcast, but you should really start on your YouTube video descriptions. You should actually mention that you're Dead Ed, because I don't think you've mentioned that anywhere.
What?
You should advertise yourself
What do you mean?
in the bread channel. It literally says nothing about Dead Ed there.
Oh. Why would anyone want to watch that? They're here for the podcast.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Dude,
I thought
what's-
you wanted
You know-
to promote yourself.
to-
I don't know.
To be honest, I'm surprised you didn't make it a part of Dead Ed.
No.
Why?
Because these are
I'd like to
all
start again.
separate entities. And you know what? Dead Ed has been flapping around for like 11 years and nothing's happened. So maybe it just needs to be something new and fresh. You're like me, faggot! Okay, go back to the bedroom.
Whoa.
Oh,
Sorry, that was Richard.
how is Mr. Dick today?
He's good. He did some recordings this morning, so we're happy. You'll be happy, guys. Leather. You'll be happy, Leather.
I'm never happy, mate.
You can hear it in his voice.
That's
Sounds like you need more bourbon.
Oh, bourbon. Wait, Nuggsy, what is this artist you linked me? The Edward Kenhol.
Kindholes. I believe that's the one that made the installations about the red light district.
Ah, okay. I'll be sure to check that out.
Yeah. I have to look into it a bit more. It's been 7 years. I don't really remember much.
Well, with that said,
What? Never what?
What was said?
thank you everyone for joining us.
Oh, we haven't done the Would You Rather.
Who joined us?
We can
Thank
do it.
you everyone for
There's
joining
people
us.
here? Where?
Damn.
I'll see you later,
What?
mate. Bye, everyone. Oh, we're doing a Would You Rather? Alright, let's
One
go.
Would You Rather. But
Oh, wait,
there's-
which one? One or two?
There's a few. I've come up with my own one, but I think we should honour one. Maybe the top one because it was there first.
Okay.
Okay. Would you rather wear someone else's dirty underwear or someone else's toothbrush? It doesn't stipulate for how long. Let's just say for a week.
You say dirty underwear?
Yeah. Would you rather wear someone else's dirty underwear or
dirty
use
underwear,
someone
yeah.
else's toothbrush?
Depends whose it was, because if it's
Done.
what dirty underwear.
I'm not putting that shit in my mouth. Hell no.
Well,
But
Hell
it
no.
doesn't. See, it doesn't specify because it just says someone else's toothbrush, so you can clean the toothbrush, right?
yeah.
Hell no. And you can probably clean the underwear as well.
No, but that
Depends
says that someone else's dirty underwear. It
Yeah, and
specifies.
you can clean it.
I guess the toothbrush is still kind of old and crusty.
But you're
even
wearing
you-
the dirty underwear.
Yeah, but you can clean it. You can take it off and clean it and put it back on.
But no, but you're wearing the
Stopping-
dirty underwear.
Okay, so let's
yeah,
make it
and you
that
can
you-
take it off and then you fucking clean it and then you put it back on.
Let's make it for the sake of this. Would you rather you cannot clean it in any way, shape, or
Clean,
form?
Yep.
Either.
It depends whose it is, though. It really does. Because if it was like my dad's toothbrush, ew. But if it was my wife's toothbrush, we kiss, we make out, no biggie. If it was like some hobo's underwear, ew. If it was Kim Kardashian's underwear, ew. It just there's no
And if it was my cousin's underwear,
already there.
that chocolate goodness.
I don't know. I'll probably go the toothbrush route because I'm spitting
yeah.
that crap out. I brush my teeth.
Yeah, I'm going-
out.
Yeah, because you're using toothpaste,
Yeah.
presumably.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I'll be alright. I mean, I bloody wear. I bloody take a shower afterwards anyway, so I'll be alright.
Yeah, but don't you just have to put the dirty underwear back on afterwards? So it's kind of negating the whole shower.
I have another question to ask.
What?
What do we ask this question? Where'd it go? Hang on.
You're highlighting everything.
Where the
Is that you?
Oh, yeah. Here we are.
What are you doing?
Would you rather pick the red pill or the blue pill? Now, are you ready for this? Yeah, cousin. I don't know if you know about
wait,
this
who
one.
who removed all that?
No, it didn't remove.
Oh, sorry, okay.
Just creating next week's one. Wait, what's the difference? Wait, what's...
Restart your life. Okay, the red pill is restart your life at 10 years old with all the knowledge you have now. Or blue pill, fast forward your age to 50 with $10 million in your bank account.
So the first thing I thought of was that, okay, you fast forward to 50 and you have 10 million in your bank account, fair enough. But if you go back with the knowledge you have now, you could earn probably triple that because you would have knowledge of like
buy stocks in
like
Apple.
gambling results and stuff. Yeah,
No,
that's
just buy Apple stocks and Microsoft stocks.
Yeah. To
So
me,
instantly
it'd
you
be
would go red pill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red pill would have been, regardless of if I made money or not. I feel like let's rule money out of this. So just say
Okay.
you can't go back and use it to win the lotto or Apple.
monetary
If you put stocks in Apple, it'll change the way it works, and Apple will not be successful, and some other random company will be successful instead. You know what I mean? So basically, anything to do with money, it won't work to your advantage. Okay, so you will always be stuck with the amount of money you currently have now.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that you can't like get a better job or anything with the knowledge that you have. So you can at least improve
Right.
your salary or something like that. But yeah, so I still, regardless of that, I would still go red pill because I would much rather be able to do things that I thought I could not do as a younger person.
You know, I would also go red pill, but I feel like I just wasted again. I feel like
you'd
it
be
just fall into
this
the same
time
shit.
I'll do it
habit."
differently,
Yeah.
and then you don't. I'm gonna tell my mum off for sure this day,
Yeah, this time.
day where she's ruined my life. But I know if I go back and I
Shut
tell her,
up! I'm sorry, Mum.
Oh, sorry,
Damn
Mum.
it, next time.
You know what?
Tomorrow.
This is a thing I thought about a lot. Like, if I had the chance to go back to like my first day of primary school with the knowledge I have now, and I'm thinking, no, I'd still be a pussy whipped ass piece of coward like I am now. It wouldn't really matter, but I would still go back to the age of 10 with the knowledge I have and not date a single one of my exes, knowing every one of them how they are. So that's probably, I would go back in time. I would try and apply myself this time to school and try and do
that's
well.
a good point, because the first time around, that's first-hand experience. Like, you don't know what you're getting into. But now that you know what you're getting into, you can kind of skip that whole chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even if it ends up, you're in the same position as you were before, you try something and it still doesn't work out, at least you have more knowledge and you can still apply it. You have a million days to change anything else anyway, right? I mean, I was just thinking about this as well. Like, I think about this a lot as well. Imagine if you knew about 9/11 and you called up and you told them about it.
Oh, I thought about that too. They wouldn't take you seriously.
So fucked. They would kill you on the spot.
They wouldn't take you seriously.
They wouldn't believe you. They wouldn't believe you. They'll probably arrest you. Then when it happens, they will interrogate the shit out of you, your family, who you're associated with, this and that. How would you know? They will. You can't. You literally can't tell anyone.
No.
You may be able to, but it's like a very specific set of circumstances, like a payphone that's like the other side of the country.
Yeah.
Like,
But
you would
who
have
would
to
listen
wear
to
like
that
hoodies and
anyway?
stuff, just in case there was
You'd have
a
to
camera
pretend to
pointed
be
at
the
you.
terrorist and like, I've escaped them and I've had to tell you this, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But it's such a risk. You will seriously make that one mistake of trying to save the country of all this, but then you fuck yourself over and you die early or something through whatever means, and then that's it.
What's this whole? I mean, even the small, like, no
And it
matter
doesn't
what.
prevent it anyway.
As soon as you start to do, at a young age, if you start to do things, your life will start to go off in a different way because you've chosen a different path.
Yeah,
Thus, you might
right.
not meet the women or the people that you became friends or lovers with. You might not have that option.
That's another thing that I've kind of thought about too, because by going back with the knowledge you have now,
You screw it up.
you're changing what you originally experienced, because you know what to steer clear of and what you would rather change.
Yep.
So your life would be totally different.
Yep.
It wouldn't be the same life.
So you're
Oh
screwed.
fuck it! Just give me that chance to go back. I want that red pill. I would change everything. Oh my God, I would change everything.
Meeting
Me.
I
Hey,
will have
mate.
a vagina instead. I promise you.
That's the thing. Like, that's something I've really thought about. If I go back in time and I met a member of my family and say, look, in 20, 30 years' time, you change in a big way. Would I tell them that? Would that mess them up? Would I try and help them maybe not change in that way? It's like if you... Okay, I'm going to use gay as the example here.
What do you do in that example? Because you can't just say, look, I want you to not change to this. First of all, they'll disregard it. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, you're crazy. Yeah.
Could I ask you a question?
Yes.
How supportive of you how supportive were you
How
in the first
supportive are
place?
you, Ed?
Very supportive. I mean, very supportive. I just want people to be happy.
But like, were you kind of devil's
person
advocate
is
at the
not
same
happy.
time?
Sorry?
Were you kind of devil's advocate at the same time?
What does that actually mean? I've always heard that term, but I've never
Like,
understood it.
were you kind of were you kind of toy with the I guess the more negative, like, instead of like everyone's going with yeah, and you're like, well, the no's can be okay kind of thing, like you're toying with the devil because you're going against popular opinion.
I try and look. It's hard because I want to stay positive and believe that everyone can be happy, but I also have to be realistic and stay neutral as well, knowing that there are some people who will say yes to certain things and some people that will say no. I like pizza. Someone else thinks pizza is AIDS.
The only reason I ask is because could you not potentially go back and play devil's advocate in that case, and maybe you're helping them that way? By saying, well, have you thought about the consequences potentially of doing that?
That's true. And knowing the irony of life, that would probably make that person become more that, in a sense, I got a feeling.
Because you're pushing
the opposite. Yeah. It's like one of those cartoons where someone goes back and it's like when George Costanza tries to do something, and no matter what he tries to do, it always turns out against him. No matter how much it's that case. It's like, hey, you like the color red, but have you ever thought about color green? And then that person becomes like, starts painting themselves red and drinking only tomato juice. It's I've got a feeling that that's what life would do. In the end of the day, it's one of those things you can't stop.
So then,
stop it.
Would it then not matter?
Well, it's one of those things.
At the end of the day, because it still results in the same thing, right?
Well, could you imagine telling someone in the 90s, hey, this is going to happen to you? And granted, we're more liberal today, but still, it would be... I think it would be such a shock to the system. I found out as a kid, hey, by the way, you grew up to be a 50-year-old axe murderer. I think that would devastate me. And then all I'd be thinking about is like, well, my life's over now because I'm going to be an axe murderer. Not that I'm saying that being anything...
And then you
become that.
Like, then you become the axe murderer then because of that.
Yeah, so I'm not saying that is for this example. Like, if say my dad came out to be gay, not that he is, but then I said, hey, Dad, you come out to be gay, I'm just trying to think what complications would that have had he not gone through that his own personal journey.
No, what I wasn't saying that you would come out and you would tell them straight.
Oh, I would.
You would try and maybe help them understand in a roundabout way without like, coming straight at them with it.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't be so direct about it. You would be more helpful in a roundabout way.
That would be the idea, but again, I reckon life would find a way to just mess you. I know what I'd do.
That's true.
I would find Leber and say, look, mate, I know where you live to your place. I'd say your address, and then I'd say I know your family, I know your sister, I know everything about you, mate. And just to see your reaction.
How many tours does that add?
And once I've messed them up really good, and like, see, knowledge is power, and power is a dangerous thing. Oh, it'd be good. I would like in. No, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that to you, mate. But it's one of those things. It's like no matter what you do or what you try, nothing comes out how you intend it to. And you can try and influence life, but at the end of the day, life will keep going. What would you? So, Leber, you would wait. You
Red pill, 100%.
So that means you'd go back in the past.
Back in past, yep.
What would you do? What would you try and do differently?
Fucking everything.
Not just mum and dad.
He would fuck everything.
I have to rush this because I gotta go. So pee and stuff. So
okay,
hurry the fuck up.
No worries. Well, with that, thank you all for listening. This has been the In the Bread podcast with myself, Dead Ed, Anwi, Cousin, and Nugsy. Until next time, people. Look after yourselves. Look after each other. Remember, stay open-minded, but don't feel like you have to be pressured into doing anything you don't want to do. So, just live long, live well, and
look after yourselves.
Look after yourselves. And till then,
eat cheese.
And eat cheese. Unless you're lactose intolerant, which case might kill you.
Then eat cookies.
Alright, bye! I'll be back later, bye!
Bye!